Doom scrolling has legit controlled my life. It started as something, I do out of fun, and eventually I caught myself waking up scrolling, going to sleep scrolling, scrolling whenever I can, until I looked at my screen time and realized it was 8 hours. And I thought to myself, enough is enough. Hey you guys, it's Riri or Rihanna. Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about all things doom scrolling. You guys, I'm not going to lie, I fell victim to doom scrolling. I never thought I was going to get to this point because I always was like, oh, doom scrolling doesn't affect me. I have limits. No. I will be honest, doom scrolling, it's a real epidemic, especially, I don't know, for my generation, it's pretty bad. Like I said before, it was the first thing I did waking up and the last thing I did falling asleep, which is crazy because God was supposed to be in those places. But hey, honestly, this is a time to admit fault. It was really horrible. It was to the point where my screen time went all the way to 8 hours. You know all I could do in 8 hours? First of all, do a job. Like, that's a whole shift. When you think about it in math terms, 24 divided by 8, that is 1/3 of my whole entire life on my phone. That is crazy. That is 40 hours out of a perfectly work week that I spent on my phone scrolling, and scrolling some more. At that time, I could have been learning a new skill, making money, doing a lot, but instead I decided I was going to be on my phone and scroll. Not my proudest moments, but hey, we're here today to admit fault and do better. And help you guys do better as well if you also fell victim to doom scrolling. Let's get into it. The first thing I did to help myself stop doom scrolling was delete Instagram. I feel like Instagram for me was one of the biggest ones that kind of controlled my life in the sense of I was scrolling a lot. It had reels. I watched stories. I started doing the comparison game, which is horrible, especially for Instagram, because we all know Instagram, they only put the best parts of their life. It's not how Instagram used to be where everybody just posted anything just randomly. No. It was the best of everyone's life, and I kept on seeing that, feeding my brain and thinking that that was everyday's life for everyone. False, and I should have known that. I've also went and started looking at people's, what is it called, Insta notes, DMing, and by the time I blinked, I spent over 2 to 3 hours on Instagram. Just crazy. So I took it upon myself to delete Instagram, step away for a while, and go touch grass, honestly. I needed to, and it was so bad. It was so bad. Next, put a timer on TikTok. So I didn't really do it the way typically people do, which is after you hit a certain limit on TikTok, like let's say an hour limit on TikTok, the app closed. No. I decided, why not put a timer on certain times? For example, for me, from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., I cannot use TikTok. TikTok is closed. I can take it off for like 15 minutes, 1 minute, or the whole day, but I typically don't because I just try to stay off my phone, period. But yes, TikTok is one of those apps where, once again, was doom scrolling. And honestly, it was a little healthier than Instagram, but I will still admit the amount of time I was spending on TikTok was still very much concerning. It was to the point where I was getting my information from TikTok, my entertainment from TikTok. And overall, I will not lie, it was a little escape from life. Like, I knew if I opened up TikTok, it was fun over there. I was having life, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is not real life. It was definitely giving Ready Player One, and I realized, yeah, you also gotta put down TikTok. So yes, one thing I meant to doing. I don't know if you could do this for every app on your phone. I kind of did it with every app on my phone and had some exceptions, but I put a timer from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. I cannot touch TikTok. And I will admit, ever since then, and it's kind of sad too, but hey, I have not posted a TikTok video. And it's been a little freeing. Like, even just not even being on TikTok as much, it was just like, wow, this is how it feels to have life outside of TikTok. It's crazy. Touching grass, breathing, oxygen, real oxygen. Another thing I would admit, a limit on TikTok. Another thing that I did, which if you didn't watch my last video, what are you doing? I didn't recently. I've always been into books, but I've gotten into it more, especially because I'm trying to ditch social media. So I was thinking, instead of putting all this time into social media, why don't you pick up a book and read? And I will say it's been helping. It's to the point where I get so immersed in a book that I forget that I have a phone, aka social media. So it worked out hand in hand. I would recommend just like finding what books you like, whether that is thriller / horror, fantasy, rom-com, self-help, and find your groove back, stick with it, and I promise you will actually enjoy reading. If you can't afford books as well, 10 out of 10 recommend your local library. That's a thing. Go to your library. Go rent out a book and read it. If you're not a reading type, which honestly, all this stuff I mentioned in my last book, the Ultimate Book Tag, aka TBRs, all that, watch my last video. It will give you tips on how to get back into reading books. But yes, 10 out of 10 recommend putting down your phone and go pick up a book. I promise you, it's so much fun. I know I've had a blast. I don't know about anybody else, but yes. Next, one other thing I do, I also picked up not journaling. I would say junk planning. Yes. So I have a Hibonichi dupe planner, which I love to use. Actually, let me bring it. Next, another thing that truly helped me stop doom scrolling is picking up hobbies. One of my most recent hobbies I picked up besides reading was junk planning. So this right here is like my Hibonichi dupe planner, where I just, everything that I need to remember, my to-do list, or just overall fun is in this journal. I eventually plan on like getting a photo printer so I could start putting photos in here, memories, and shoot, maybe even like write a little. But yes, I 10 out of 10 recommend picking up a hobby. It doesn't have to be junk planning, which I do recommend. Eventually I will make a video about just my journal / planner overall, but yes, I 10 out of 10 recommend y'all go pick up a Hibonichi journal. I promise you will not regret. Next, I think the only two social media platforms that I am currently still on are YouTube and Pinterest, and that's because I never caught myself really doom scrolling on those. And if I was doom scrolling, it was for my goals / visions. Or with YouTube, it's like genuinely learning something or for content purposes. So I said, okay, those two social medias could stay. But make sure you're very intentional if you do choose on staying on those social medias. For example, Pinterest, I will not be on there longer than probably 5 minutes. And it's truly just to look at what goals I have and seeing if I marked any of my goals. As well as YouTube, on there to put up content, maybe for a little bit of entertainment purpose. And lastly, to do research on content or something. It's very intentional. So that definitely helped me not doom scroll. I mean, I typically, like I said earlier, did not doom scroll regardless. So just know yourself and know what apps that you want to scratch off, especially if you want to slowly get into the process of stopping yourself from doom scrolling. I wouldn't say just go straight cold turkey. Kind of like how I did, like slowly, gradually delete the apps that you know you doom scroll the most on. So for me personally, I knew immediately Instagram had to go and TikTok had to go. Pinterest could stay because I'm very intentional. I put stuff that I either goals that I've hit, like I said, or goals that I want to, and I just need to see a little reminder. Cool. As well as YouTube, once again, for content purposes, or if it is entertainment, I'm usually typically not just scrolling for hours. And yeah, so that's another thing, just knowing yourself, what social media apps are not as tempting. As much as I'd like to admit that, yes, all this stuff do help, at least it helped me, and I do recommend trying, but also, doom scrolling is a mindset, let's be honest. You have to tell yourself and be very disciplined on not doom scrolling. Tell yourself like you don't need it. Go touch grass. And remind yourself, like, as kids, especially in my generation, we did not, well, we did have social media, but I wasn't using it. You had to be on a computer at home to use MySpace and Facebook. So we actually went outside and had fun. And you just have to remember, like, you know, there was life before social media, there will be life after. Release yourself from the shackles of FOMO. Because at first I was like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to know information? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Old school way, look it up on Google. Old school way, just hit up your friends on their actual phone numbers. And honestly, deleting social media, you'll realize how many friends you actually have. Which me and my friend, we were just having this conversation because you think you're friends with people until you delete social media and then you realize, oh wow, we were just social media friends. Like, there's no way for you to contact me and you chose not to contact me. Granted, the phone goes both ways. Don't just be like, oh, they didn't contact me. I know they see me. I'm not on social media. No, don't do that. But what I will say is that you'll notice who's there and who's not there based on your social media and how much you're off of it. But primarily, running back to the first place, mindset. You have to change your mindset. None of this, you won't stop doom scrolling until you're very intentional and you tell yourself, like, hey, enough's enough. But yes, that is all I have for today's video. If you have any tips, please put in the comments down below. How did you stop doom scrolling? Do you want to stop doom scrolling? Anything, any insight on how to stop doom scrolling? What is your favorite hobby to do when you're not on your phone? And that will be all. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, my loves.